So the other day I was talking with some people and the subject of race came up because one of these motherfuckers, who is a white person by the way, always has to make shit turn racial once he starts to drink. So we were talking about, what was it? We were talking about like England, like something that had to do with England and how one of the guys was English or Welsh or whatever, and then the other one was from somewhere else. So they're two different white people, and then they're like, from two different places. So there was two black people and there's two white people, but the two white people were from two different places, right? So the one white person was like, oh, British history, like I feel like that's my history, like I would call that my history, yada yada yada. I'm like, okay, well, I was like, that's not my history. That's just not. And he's like, well, how do you know? He's like, how do you know somewhere in your lineage if your ancestors or the people, your bloodline is not white? And it kind of caught me off guard because I'm like, you know what? Like, how do I not know? Like, how do you know? And what he said was, you have two white people. And those white people have a baby, and their baby, their white child marries a black person, and they have a baby, and they have their little watered down black baby, and that baby marries a black person, and they have a baby, and their child marries a black person. And so, pretty much, how do you know if your lineage is maybe white? Because, coming from, like, being black, all along, the white pretty much washes out and you get back to black if, in fact, a black person is getting married to that mixed race person. You know what I mean? So I had to think about that because, at my last family reunion that I went to, I had noticed that there was, like, some hella light-skinned people in my family tree. Like, and I'm talking, like, back. Like, they look like, they definitely weren't black. But with that said, I still don't feel like European history is my history. Anything that had to do with motherfucking Italy, anything that had to do with fucking Rome and Greece and all that, like, sure, there were black people during those times, and maybe black people had held positions of power somewhat during those times, but I still don't feel like that is my history and where I come from, because ultimately those same countries were the ones implementing racism, and I believe one of the people who founded pretty much race and started classifying color as race was a person from Germany, so up in the area. So, no, I don't feel like a lot of that shit is my history. I feel like American history is black history to me. What pisses me off about that is that, we have Black History during February, which is the shortest month of the year, first of all, to celebrate Black History. And no other time throughout the year is motherfucking the history of what we have done as black people ever acknowledged, except in February. Granted, we have a whole month, and sadly the Mexicans have one day, which is a day that they don't even celebrate themselves in Mexico, which I think is retarded. But I think that American history, like that, is black history right there, because if you read and you know the truth about back in them times, them was niggas who pretty much was building shit back then. Like that was we built that shit, even though we don't own it. But no, I don't, even if my great Fontenot, which is my last name, even if that was in the first place white, I do not feel like that I need to learn that. Like, regardless of if I came from that doesn't have anything to do with me in this day, because in this day currently, and what history has shown, is that color does matter. So even though my great-grandparents may be two white people, that doesn't matter today. That doesn't matter going throughout history. Even slaves. That shit didn't save slaves. Slaves could have come from white people too. You know, down the line they just got to, like I said, back to black is how it ends up. If in fact two black people were getting married through, generation after generation. But even still, that didn't save them, regardless of if they was fucking their ancestors happened to be two white people. And like I said, when this question was asked, it really like caught me off guard because for one, I had been drinking a little bit, but it was just like, how do I not I had to take time to actually think about this question. But regardless of if your lineage started out as white, you're black today. Bitches gonna see you as black, regardless. The cops gonna see you as black, regardless. Shit. In this melting pot that we call America today, it is solely based off of color now. It don't lineage, unless you were like Jewish or some shit, And I don't know the whole percentage if you were drop or something, or if your mama was a Jew or some shit that goes on. I don't know about all that, but. No. I'm curious to know what, excuse me. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. So the question I'm posing is, how do you not know throughout history if your lineage is like actually white? And like, what does that mean to you? Because I'm curious to know what other people think about this, because it seriously, I had to think about it for like 2 days. But yeah, so let me know what the fuck y'all think. Oh, I just sounded like motherfucking, yeah. Anyway, let me know. Marcus Moments. Peace out.